You're watching Reality Check. On June the 7th, Bombay's high-end Hyatt Hotel temporarily shut down, throwing hundreds of employees into shock. On the face of it, the Hyatt closure seemed emblematic of how badly hospitality industry has been hit by the pandemic. And indeed, some estimates put the total number of hotels and restaurants impacted say that 270 branded hotels in India had temporarily closed due to the second wave. 8 had permanently closed. The hotel industry has complained bitterly that they receive little or no support from the government. But a deeper examination of the Hyatt case suggests a troubled financial and governance record which the pandemic could have served as the final trigger.
At one time, it was one of Mumbai's top 5-star hotels right next to the airport. Average room rates of over 10,000 rupees a night. And then the pandemic hit.
The Hyatt Regency Hotel near the Mumbai airport earlier this month suspended all its operations until further notice, leaving many of its approximately 450 employees uncertain about their jobs and their futures during this pandemic.
Staff say they barely had a warning when the bad news was announced by the general manager on the morning of June 7th.
एक नोटिस लगा दी मॉर्निंग में और इवनिंग से सब पैकअप करना चालू हो गया था तो हम ऐसी हालत में हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं आप ही बताओ
15 minutes later, this notice was put up, saying that there were no funds forthcoming from the company that owns the hotel Asian Hotels West Limited to be able to pay salaries. Hyatt itself has gone silent, barring a statement by Sanjay Sharma, the Vice President and India Country Head of Hyatt, issued earlier this month, saying we are working closely with the hotel's owners to resolve the situation.
Hyatt has offered no further comments regarding questions about staff salaries during this time. Instead, they directed us to the owning company, Asian Hotels West Limited, for any other information. We also tried reaching the Senior VP of Finance at Asian Hotels West, but he did not respond to phone calls or text messages.
The Industrial Court in Mumbai has given the Bharatiya Kamgar Sena, the union which represents about 193 employees of the hotel, partial relief and protected them from termination until the next hearing. The staff have also been paid their salaries until May 2021. But that's clearly not enough. This is Rupali Natekar, who worked as a room attendant at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Mumbai. Now barely able to manage potentially life-saving drugs for her husband after first taking a 50% pay cut since May last year.
लास्ट ईयर से जब से कोविड आया तब से 50% सैलरी पे हमें रखा
आपका
है
सैलरी कितना था मैम?
मेरा 13,000
और अभी आ रहा है 6,500 यानी।
हाँ तो मुझे अपने हस्बैंड की दवाइयाँ बंद करनी पड़ी वो बीपी और डायबिटीज़ के पेशेंट है उनकी दवाइयाँ मुझे बंद करनी पड़ी क्योंकि मैं नहीं पे कर रही वो इंसुलिन पे है मेरे हस्बैंड फिलहाल तो मुझे उनकी दवाइयाँ बंद करनी पड़ी साल भर से
Hemant Redekar worked as a cook at the hotel for 11 years, drawing a salary of 26,000 rupees. For the past 1 year, he, like his colleagues, took a 50% pay cut, which meant that he had to stop chemotherapy for his mother, who has stage 4 lung cancer.
अभी कैसा है कि इस आदमी से थोड़ा उधर ले लो उस आदमी से अभी माँ का ट्रीटमेंट तो नहीं रोक सकता मैं क्योंकि
आपके माँ बीमार है
हाँ
आप कह रहे थे।
मेरी माँ बीमार है तो पिछले 2.5 साल से कैंसर पेशेंट है लंग कैंसर है और स्टेज 4 पे है तो उनका दवाई केमोथेरेपी अभी पिछले 1 साल से तो रुक गया है पूरा। ऐसा होता है कि कभी कभी सोचते हुए बैठता हूँ कि आगे क्या होगा हमारे बच्चों का माँ को दवाई देना है खिलाना है या कि ऐसे ही छोड़ देना है माँ तो नहीं छोड़ सकते ना तो ये चीज़ बार बार टेंशन आता है जैसे तो आगे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता कि क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है। अब रिश्तेदारों से पैसा मांगना है तो कितना मांगना है किससे मांगना है।
He has started selling his assets to be able to make ends meet.
ऊपर से
कर्जा लिया है आपने
ऑलरेडी ले चुका है मैंने अपने वाइफ का 5 तोला सोना बेच दिया है एक मेरा प्लॉट था वो भी बेच दिया पिछले 1.5 साल में क्योंकि दवाई तो करना है वैसे मैं बेड पे नहीं छोड़ सकता उसको। ऊपर से ये जो क्लास है स्कूल का उसका फीस नहीं भरा है तो वो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि अगले साल एडमिशन नहीं देंगे ये साल और ऑनलाइन क्लास भी नहीं चालू करेंगे। ये दूसरी सिचुएशन है।
कितने महीने का फीस पेंडिंग है बच्चों का?
पिछले 6 महीने का पेंडिंग है।
And An examination of the filings of Asian Hotels West Limited charts out the impact of the pandemic and of underlying tensions. Up until about 2019-20, the hotel seemed to be doing well, turning around years of loss and even posting profits since 2016-17.
But their financial results for the period March to December 2020, as India started to lock down, shows that revenue crashed by almost 80%, and the company went from making a profit of 3 crore in 2019 to making a loss of 32 crore. Things came to a head on June 8 when Asian Hotels West told the stock exchange that the company defaulted on a Yes Bank installment on 28 April 2021 for the first time in its history. This, it said, is due to the massive effect of COVID-19 pandemic on the company, entire hotel industry across the country and the globe. Since then, they say, Yes Bank has held all their funds in an escrow account, and the company or the hotel are not allowed to make any payment from the said account. But it appears that the crisis was not just financial. A day after the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Mumbai shut, 2 of their independent directors resigned. Raj Bhargav, one of the directors who resigned, said to the company secretary and compliance officer that it was because he did not see any future, and also because, despite repeated requests, the chairman did not respond to a discussion on the financial problems of the company. Lalit Bhasin, the other director and a lawyer, was harsher, saying that it was because of the failure and refusal on the part of the chairman to convene a board meeting to discuss the acute financial crises which the company is facing. He said there was an atmosphere of hostility among the promoters.
At Asian Hotels West Limited, we emailed the company secretary and the compliance officer, who did not respond to our request for comments. We also tried reaching out to the independent directors of the company who had recently resigned, both of whom refused to speak to us. We also reached out to Yes Bank. A bank spokesperson said that as a matter of policy, Yes Bank does not comment on client or company specific information.
For those impacted like Hemant Redikar, the chances of finding another job is grim. Across the city, hotels are struggling or even shutting down. Like the Ramada Hotel in Powai, shut since the lockdown in March 2020.
मैं ये पूछ रही थी, ये कब से बंद है होटल? मार्च से। तो यहाँ पे जो काम करते थे वो लोग? अच्छा, जो काम पे कोई आते हैं यहाँ पे अभी? पहले के काम पे जो आते थे वो लोग आते हैं? नहीं. In further evidence of how the pandemic has devastated the hospitality sector, we are here at the Ramada Hotel in Powai, Mumbai, which the guards tell us has been closed since March last year. The only staff here are the guards and a few members of housekeeping staff who come to maintain and clean the hotel. The rest of the staff, what happened to their jobs, nobody knows.
All right, joining me on Reality Check, we have with us Anurag Katriyar, who's president of the National Restaurants Association of India and also restaurateur himself. Gurbakshish Singh Kohli, who's vice president of the Federation of Indian Hotels, FHRAI, is also a hotelier. And we have Shefali Gandhi, who's founder of Koi Asian Dining in Goa restaurant, and Sunil Alak, business and marketing consultant. Great to have him as always. Thank you all so much for being on the show. Mr. Kohli, we just saw that story of Hyatt, which is, it's very unusual for a big branded hotel like Hyatt to close down. Clearly, the crisis is quite acute, Mr. Kohli, but when the government says they've come up with new packages and schemes, is that of any help? Or first, actually give us a scale of how bad the crisis is. Because the figure put out by the Hotel Federation is that you've had a collective loss of 1.3 lakh crores.
1.40 lakh crores.
Oh, it's actually 1.4 lakh crores.
1.40 lakh crores and counting.
Wow.
Besides that, if I'll come to your question, yes, it's not rocket science to see that our industry, the hospitality industry, has taken the biggest hit, and nobody needs to actually get any special instrument to see that how badly we are doing.
Sorry, just
Some
to understand,
stocks-
sir, just to jump in
Yeah.
for a second, this 1 point,
yeah.
you're saying it's actually 4 lakh crore. This is a hit
One
that's
point.
been taken since since March of last year,
Since the that's right.
right, till the present.
That's right.
And
This is over and above 30% of the establishments that have closed down permanently
30% of all over India,
all over India.
hotels
Yes.
have closed down permanently.
Hotels, restaurants, they've shut down permanently.
And you did obviously, this is a basis of
Yes,
a survey
yes.
or how?
This is our own survey. I'm not sure if the government has any specific figures, which they should be having actually. But this is based on our own survey,
That's huge.
on our
I-
members and non-members. That's really huge.
I wonder whether you also have an estimate of how many people may have lost their jobs on account of this.
Approximately 15 lakh people, if you reverse calculate, because when we are
15
talking about
lakh.
yes, we're not just talking about people who are directly employed. We are talking
Wow.
about people who are indirectly employed also, and they've lost their jobs as well. And we've been telling this to the government since the day one with estimated figures that it could reach to alarming effect, alarming proportions. And let me also inform you that the only sector-specific relief supposedly has come in, which the Honorable Finance Minister announced, I think, a couple of days earlier.
Just yesterday. Just
yes,
yesterday.
Sorry, yes. So prior to that, there was no relief at all.
I know, and I'm going to come to that relief package and whether it was of any help or not. But I want to go across to Anurag first. Anurag, I want to start by asking you, right now wearing your hats just as a restaurateur yourself, and I'll come to the association that you head in a second. So I take it you're still Degustibus, you're still running.
Yes, we are still running Indigos. Yes, that's right.
You're still running Indigos, okay.
Yeah.
Full disclosure,
yes.
Anurag and I go back quite a long way to
Yes.
the
I think what 20 years.
20 years. It's been a but. So Anurag, just tell me first how badly were your own restaurants, the Indigo, fabulous chain of restaurants in Bombay. How badly was that hit?
Oh, fairly badly, to be honest, because the way this whole pandemic panned out since March of last year,
Right.
there is a inherent problem in the business models that we operate on. The proportion of fixed operating expenses in my business is higher than most of the other businesses, whether
Right.
that is because of the high manpower, rentals, and so on and so forth. Now, when that happens and revenue goes down, then obviously you bleed very badly. And that is what happened with us. As we speak, we have shut down our operations in Delhi completely. We have reduced our footprint in Mumbai quite significantly.
Okay.
And this is here to stay. Now we are operating, I know, we are operating only 3 Indigo Delhis in Mumbai, whereas we were operating 8 before the pandemic hit us.
Wow.
And we have shut down Pune as well. So it is very bad, and unless such drastic steps are taken, we can't survive in this era, because it's more than the liquidity support that we are talking about. The fact is, the way businesses used to operate
Yes.
in the pre-pandemic times and how they will operate in post-COVID era are going to be very different. And this is the time to retool. And I would say half of my restaurants I've shut down on purpose because I don't see them holding any future with the change dynamics of the market.
Good God.
And so,
that's a bloodbath, though, from what you just described. What a great pity. Let me. Yeah, Anurag, going around the table. I'm coming to you in a second. I just wanted to get Shefali in also on this. Shefali,
Hi, yeah.
Hi, you have this restaurant Koi Asian Dining
Which
in Goa.
also I have shut down, and I'm actually planning to get into the cloud kitchen format.
You
We can't
shut down
survive.
your restaurant.
Yes, we can't survive.
When? When did this happen?
We shut down after the first lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah, we can't, because there was no help from the government. The landlords in Goa were sitting on our heads that you have to pay rental. We didn't have relief at all. So while the lockdown was still happening, we had to pay salaries, to rentals, to everything, which was impossible.
Good God. Sunil Alag, I am coming to you. Don't worry, my friend. I haven't forgotten. But I just want to get the hoteliers very quickly on the support, or rather the lack of it from the government, because the thing is, Mr. Kohli, this relief which has come, 5 lakh free tourist visas, and basically government guaranteeing loans up to 10 lakhs. I'm not sure how much that's of help, especially to the bigger players. 10 lakhs?
You're absolutely right. This actually, it's a 3-point so-called stimulus that they have projected. One is the enhancement of the ECLGS scheme,
which is the emergency credit line guarantee.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which basically tells you that please take another loan on your loan, and you pay me however you can. So that's number one. Number two is the 100% government guaranteed loans which have come in. That's about 1.1 lakh crore, out of which 60% has been earmarked for medical services. So that leaves 40,000 crores. The problem with this is it's not the amount; it's the disbursement. You mention an amount, you formulate an amount, but you do not mandate the banks to give that amount. Now, banks do not find this industry viable at all. Who would want to lend money to a shut restaurant or hotel? So we are not getting that money. The banks are being really, really very careful or extra careful. And I don't have to repeat what happened to the Hyatt. This is the classic case. And therefore, we've been asking and requesting the government that you should mandate the banks to give the loans. You shouldn't leave it at their discretion. The third point is the 5 lakh visas. Well, great, it's a welcome move, but it's of no use to me now. That 5 lakh visas will be useful when travel starts. Who knows, in 2 years or 3 years time? Till then, what? We want relief right away. And it's not as if 5 lakh visas are earmarked and there are 5 lakh people waiting to jump and travel into India. We have to see what our neighbors are doing, and whether they would want to come to India or whether they would want to go to a more lucrative destination. So we've been requesting.
Yeah, yes.
It makes more sense right now to incentivize domestic travel rather than start saying that there are 5 lakh people will come in. When will they come in? We don't know when they're going to come in.
Okay, Anurag, were you also disappointed about the lack of a safety net? Some countries have done direct cash support to restaurants, like in England, and didn't happen here.
Yes, I mean, yes, as NRAI president, I must say that we were expecting much more than what came our way. See, what has essentially come is liquidity support. In comparison to, say, what Kohli Saab is saying, for restaurants, most of them fall under the MSME category, and that's why lots of them have benefited. But you must understand, end of the day, it's a loan. It's a debt that I have to repay over a period of time.
Right.
And with all the uncertainties around, it's not exactly like anything beyond just making sure that the mortality rates go down for the time being. Eventually, they have to be paid back. So from that perspective, yes, it's a little shorter than our expectations for sure. And I just hope that the government comes up with policies which can boost consumption right now. As Kohli Saab was saying, our domestic size of the Indian market is huge. And if we can start incentivizing them to spend money like what the UK did, that can really propel the engine of growth. Okay.
Sunil, what do you think explains this? Because the numbers, as we just heard, are staggering. Close to 15 lakhs may have lost their job, 30% of restaurants closed. Why has the government not been much more proactive in providing more sort of direct support to this sector, which is in some ways like with aviation? I mean, these are the most vulnerable areas of the economy when you get hit with a lockdown.
I think basically if you talk about hotels, if you talk about aviation, there are many industries like building of homes which have all been affected. There's no question about it that, look, this is all, and people have lost their jobs, and I'm all, in support of them. But when a big hotel chain like Hyatt closes down, then you have to ask the owners, because are they only having Hyatt Regency in Bombay, or are they having Four Seasons, and are they having that Hyatt in Kalina also? If they are making money, it's for the owners to plow in the money. The big guys. If you look at the Taj, look at ITC,
sure,
they've been spending money and doing it. So then the big guys, you got to blame the owners. You can't blame the government alone. That's all I'm saying is that, look, they must look after all the workers. But the smaller MSMEs is what I'm worried about, because nobody seems to be talking about them. When their restaurants are closing, when everybody is closing, then nobody seems to be concerned about them. And I agree with the gentleman Anurag when he was saying is that, look, the government is giving the money, but the banks are not. And therefore, unless the banks are mandated to give it, it doesn't mean anything. And I have always said right from the beginning, the government seems to be following for the last 2 years on sales law. Unless you have not just the hotel industry, any industry, when will they produce? Only when consumers tend to buy. When will they buy? Only when you put money in their hands. Now, agreed, the poor guys will spend whatever money you give them, they will spend on consumption. Therefore, if you have a good agricultural crop,
but
and if you carry on with your infrastructure,
no,
one second, let me finish. No, let me finish. I'm just saying that they will carry on. But the middle income group and so-called, of course, the very, very upper, they don't care. But I'm talking about the middle income group. They've been left high and dry. They are spending more money. The savings rate are going down. The petrol prices are going up. Inflation is hitting them. So unless the government might say, and I agree with Anurag in saying you ought to incentivize expenditure. How do you incentivize expenditure? Anyone spending on hotels, anyone spending on flights, you give them some incentive, whether it's in a tax form or don't put money into their hands because they will tend to save.
Right.
Therefore, it's important that you incentivize expenditure. And I agree with Anurag on that.
Okay.
You have to
incentivize
expenditure.
That's the whole point. That's not happened. We've just seen loan scheme after loan scheme after loan scheme. And that's you know, that's when you need something much more direct. But we are very short on time. Just wanted to hear from you, Shefali. So the way that people are surviving now, some, as Anurag and others were saying, are either just closing down, or you have readapted. You said you're doing cloud kitchen.
I will be doing a cloud kitchen, but not right now, because Goa's any which way is shut, Srinivasan. There is no tourism. We're not allowed to do anything much. So how are you going to survive even if you do something else right? One, I don't know if you've already heard, yesterday Tito's has sold his brand.
This is Tito's, the famous Goa Tito's.
Yes.
In I think Kalangut or in Baga.
Yes, which is that was one brand that did put Goa on the map.
He sold his land? Or
no, the brand.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, it's tough times for everyone. How do you survive?
Wow.
No, if Tito has sold his brand or land, I didn't get that. Is it
brand?
Brand and business both, actually.
Brand and business, that means he's decided to go home. The guy who's buying it, now he has to run it. He's not buying it for the sake of buying it. Therefore, he will have a plan that he will run Tito's and the ownership will change. That's all that happens in that.
Exactly.
He's not going to buy it and then keep the money over there and then say, I've spent the money and that's it. He's going to run that brand now.
But Mr. Alag, why would he want to do this, which he has taken so many years?
I'm not getting into why. I'm just saying the new owner will run Tito's.
No, I know, Suril Alag, but I mean, I think, the bigger point is that you have been pushed to such a crisis that something that you built over the years, you had to sell like a fire sale. Come on, that's surely the point here.
But you have no idea.
But it's unfortunate.
We can't assume anything. Tito might have said, look, I'm getting the money. It's much better for me to have the money. The guy who's buying the brand is going to run it. He's not buying it for the sake of buying it. Therefore,
I mean, that's extraordinary.
I think we need to shed this elitist
You're getting a good buy at this point of time. A lot of people are going to buy hotels.
Extraordinary, Mr. Alag. Come on.
They're going to run it. They're going to give employment.
We're really out of...
I'd like to defer with you, because this is the mindset which calls the hospitality brands or hospitality as an elitist. So, you put an elitist tag to it, which is not. That is why so many of us are closing down. I mean, we cannot, I'm sorry, but we cannot think on those terms that just because it's a 5-star.
Okay. All right, okay.
I'm sorry.
We have to leave it here.
I would disagree.
We have to leave it here. But those numbers are quite alarming, of the number of shutdowns and the number of job layoffs, if indeed those are the actual numbers. But thank you all so much for joining me on Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Good night.